Today in this video we are going to build this simple application using HTML, Tailwind CSS and vanilla JavaScript. So the basic functionality is that we click on these little boxes, little purple boxes, and the content of the black box will get updated, and even on the refresh of the page the content of the black box is preserved. So now let's move to the coding part. We'll start with this file structure, and in the index.html file we will start with HTML5 boilerplate. Change the title. We'll plug the tailwind CSS CDN and our custom CSS file which we had created earlier. Set some classes in body. The first one is funSans and the second one is tracking widest, which will increase the letter spacing in our application. We'll also plug our script tag and give it a defer attribute so that the script would load after the HTML is finished loading. We'll define a header tag, and inside it will define a div tag and give it a class of text center and some padding on y-axis. H1 tag, some text inside it, and give it a class of text 3axle which will increase its font size significantly. HR tag after header 2. So you can see it in the browser too. We'll define a section tag and give it a class of margin top 5, and inside it will create a div tag and give it a class of container and margin auto. So it will create gutter in the both of the side if the screen size is too large, and the margin auto class will push everything to the center of the screen, and some padding on x-axis too. We'll define a div tag and give it a class of flex and justify between. This justify between class will separate our child elements equally spaced. Okay, in the first child element we'll define as high as the in HTML and set the class to be flex, justify center and item center. What this will do is it will center the content inside it to be horizontally and vertically centered, and some color, and hover over them, then change the color to purple 500, padding, some border thing, and increase the text size. You can see here we will define our data content to high. This attribute we will use with JavaScript to access the content of the box we have clicked, and we'll repeat the same thing with other text. We can preview it in the browser. Here it is. Okay, we'll now create another section and give it a class of margin top 10, and inside it we will do the same thing we did earlier at the top, and inside it again we will define a div tag, give it a class of relative, set the background color to be gray 900, increase the text size, some padding on x and y axis, center the text, whiten the text, and set the border to be rounded. Define a button tag and give it an ID of clear button and some classes so that the position of this button would be at the bottom left corner, and throw a SPG inside this button, which I will provide the link in the description. You can see that button here. Now we'll define a div tag below that button and set the showbox ID. And in the style.css file, which we will increase the word spacing to .5 rem, and we'll grab all the div tag with data content attribute and change the cursor to pointer. So now if you hover over them, then the mouse is changed to cursor. And in the app.js file, we'll select all the div tag with data content attribute, showbox, and clear button too. And we'll look through the text boxes, and on each text box we define a click event listener and pass a callback function. This callback function will grab the inner HTML of the showbox and append the clicked text box content, which we can use .dataset and .content to access. And we will update the showbox using update showbox function, and we have to create this function and one argument HTML, and we will set the inner HTML of the showbox to be that HTML, and in the local storage we define a new item showbox and set the value to be HTML. And on the clear button click event, we will define a callback function of clear showbox. So this function will clear the or set the showbox inner HTML to be null, and from the local storage it will remove the showbox item using .remove item, and we'll define an NMNS function on the global state or global scope, and grab the showbox item from the local storage and set the showbox inner HTML to be that HTML, and we will wrap this function with parentheses and execute as a normal function. So that's a wrap up, and hope you like this video. And if you like this video, then give it a thumbs up, subscribe and share if you want to really help. Thank you.